What's up, everybody? Andy and Nathan, we're going to be breaking down Dana White Contender Series 2022 Week 9, coming off of a really good week. We cashed our official play, Ikram, by Inside the Distance, and we have our official play that is up right now on WagerTalk.com for this week's event. We're on a 15-5 run in MMA, so Nathan and I are seeing the events really, really well. Appreciate all the comments. We've only been doing these videos for a few weeks, so please leave your comments below. Let us know who you like. I always love seeing what other handicappers are on. So go ahead and leave your comments below. Hit the like and subscribe button. Let's get right into it, Nathan. We're going to start off with Roybert Echeverria versus Jafel, Filho, and Filho, again, we have another situation kind of like last week with Marcos, where we have a guy who didn't fight for a long time, but he did come back. This is Jafel Filho. He does come back and gets the win by arm triangle choke. I thought he looked pretty good, especially taking the week off, or taking those years off. So what do you see in this fight, Echeverria and Filho?
I'm actually more interested in the dog in this one. I'm really liking Roy Echeverria, coming from Venezuela, escaping the communism. He's looked very good on his feet. I know that some people might say that the level of competition hasn't been that great, but his fight against Arce was absolutely incredible. I think what he does very, very well is manage his distance, and he's a solid striker. He keeps evolving as a fighter, as you can see. You can't get much tape on the Filho guy. The time off, what it does look like it did improve his physique. He does look like he's more in shape. He is a beast on the ground. However, on the stand-up, there's a lot of holes. There's a lot to be, desired in regards to how he handles other strikers. So the way I feel about it, if Roy can manage that distance well, keep away from the ground game, I think that he actually has a very good opportunity to steal this as an underdog. If it does go to the mat, I think Filho definitely has the advantage, but Roy has shown some very good submission defense as well as some submission games himself. So I'm excited to see the fight.
It's interesting. You and I may be a little bit on different sides here. I thought I was really impressed with the kicks that Filho used in his last fight coming back. So I thought he used them well to set up the takedown. And you're right. If he can get the takedown, it's Filho's all day. But great power from Echeverria. So should be a good one. Sounds like you and I are on a little bit different sides. So that's always fun. Let's take a look at the next fight. Nurullo Aliev versus Josh Wick. I mean, Nathan, where have we seen this this recipe before? Wrestle, take your guy to the ground, grind out a victory. Listen, it's worked for a lot of big-name guys, and that's what Aliev, his game plan is. I guess one of the things is this is not an exciting style for Dana White Contender Series. Dana's looking for finishes. So Aliev is going to be the obvious favorite. Credit to Josh Wick for taking this on short notice. But what do you see in this fight?
Yeah, I mean, Josh Wick's taken on a week's notice. I do like his stand-up abilities. He does have solid striking and fantastic kicks, in which he used in his last fight against an old UFC fighter. It's been a while since he was in there, but he was able to kind of really chop the legs, get up in his cage, and get the TKO. However, the one fight in which he has lost, and lost pretty badly, was against Nunes, who was a grappler, and he's up against Aliev, who is that backpacking Nurmagomedov Dagestani style. I mean, it's not going to be the prettiest thing. Who knows? He might be Aliev might be a little more aggressive because he is on Dana White's Contender Series, and I see him maybe popping a submission, like a rear naked choke, given if Josh Wick gives up the neck. But I think it's his fight to lose. I mean, the short-term notice, the style matchup, it just leans Aliev all day. It's super juiced, so it is what it is. But it's kind of like his fight to lose.
It's a parlay piece for sure. If you find something else on this card or even another sport, it's a pretty good piece to add in. But Aliev, he does some of the exact same things that some of these other wrestlers, these Dagestani wrestlers, do, which is they're not scared to take a kick or a punch if it gets them on the mat. They're perfectly fine with eating a big shot or two. And Wick is certainly going to be swinging. He's not going to be scared to show some of those kicks, but he's going to have 100% takedown defense. If it goes down to the mat once, it's probably going to stay there for the rest of the round. So credit to Wick. This is a tough fight to take on 7 days' notice, but if you get a chance, you're not saying no to Dana White Contender Series. That's for sure. Next fight, Austen Lane, Richard Jacobi. Kind of an interesting fight here. I have liked what I've seen from Austen Lane. He does leave himself open a little bit, but I do think I like his cardio. One fight in particular, he was losing, because he kept getting taken down by a much bigger guy, and then he ends up getting the knockout late. But he does leave himself open here. Odd picture that they used of Austen Lane, by the way. That doesn't really look like him. So I wish they could use a little bit better picture
He's
of
like
him.
clean shaven, but it's like a crazy dread hair, you know.
Yeah, that's the only one we could find. So anyway, walk us through what do you like about Austen Lane and Richard Jacobi here?
Richard Jacobi, I mean, he's a shoot to boxer. I don't know why he's really getting the shot. He came off a draw most recently, a fight in which he would have lost. The only reason they came to a draw is because he got kicked in the groin one too many times. It seems to happen in a lot of his fights that I've watched. I do like, however, his striking. He does have a solid 1-2. He does kind of like keeps his head off the center line, has good solid leg kicks. Going up against Austen Lane, the former NFL player, his second shot at the Dana White's Contender Series, lost against Greg Hardy, but since then has gone on a five-fight win streak. He does, like you said, Andy, leave himself open to strikes because he rushes in with a 1-2, but once he gets in close in the body lock, he's got great leads. He's super powerful, even if he is to get on his back. For whatever reason, since he's an NFL player, he seems to just be able to like push his opponents off of him, which is kind of crazy. I can see, as long as Austen Lane kind of watches his P's and Q's when rushing in and doesn't get clocked, I do like his chances in this fight, especially if it goes to the ground.
Also, I think there's a pretty big difference in caliber of opponent here. Richard Jacobi's opponents have not really impressed, so could be an interesting fight. Austen Lane, Richard Jacobi, and now we get to. I'm actually surprised this isn't the main event. You're dealing with Raul Rosas Jr. versus Mando Gutierrez. Raul Rosas, Nathan, needed to have his parents literally sign a permission slip for him to fight on this because he's so young. I gotta be honest. I feel a little awkward on it. I don't know if I feel comfortable wagering on a person this young. That being said, if we're just taking the age out of it, my gosh, is he so advanced and strong? I mean, great takedowns, really good finishing ability. He's never seen past 2 minutes, 35 seconds in the second round. And honestly, Nathan, that is my biggest concern. He's fighting a guy who's much older, Mando Gutierrez, only losses to Mo Miller. Much better competition, too. I kind of like that he won his last fight by decision. It wasn't very exciting, but he showed cardio, and I can see Raul Rosas getting an early finish. But if Gutierrez can weather that first storm, I think Raul Rosas could be in trouble since he's not been into deep waters. Any other takeaways from this fight, and what do you make of Dana White Contender Series featuring someone this young?
I have no idea. I mean, what I do know is that he is, he's been, like they say, he's been wrestling grown-ass men, since the age of 15 or whatever it is. He is a monster on the ground. He has been developing, as you can see him, his last fight by winning like TKO ground and pound to show off the strong elbows and the solid ground and pound. However, totally agreement. He's never seen out of the first round. I think maybe 1 second that happened in like the first 17 seconds. One fight. Gutierrez is a dog. I mean, he will fight and he does not give up. I think of the two, he's going to be the stronger fighter. He has fought the better competition. He has fought a lot more competition than, say, Raul Rosa has. And I'm interested to see if he gets out of the first round. If he gets out of the first round, I'm definitely leaning more Gutierrez in this, just due to the experience. He does have solid submission defense. I think he's going to be better on the feet. It's going to be a very interesting fight. I mean, of course, it'd be exciting to see the 17-year-old win, but this might be too big a step up in competition this soon in his career.
Are they really, if he wins, are they really going to put him in UFC? Haven't we been down this road with Chase Hooper, with some of these guys that are too young? There was one thing I did notice about Rosas is in one of his fights in particular, he wrapped up just a sick body triangle and he was on the back and he was really patient. He looked over and you could see him listening to his corner. Very, very mature. Like he listened to his corner and sure enough, all of a sudden had an arm bar in there. So not saying this guy isn't super advanced for his age. Just remember, this is a young person that's going to be fighting in the toughest fight of his career so far. So, and then we move on to the main event. Got to be honest, not the most exciting main event in the world. I'm surprised this is the one they chose to roll with, but Leon Aliu versus Brunno Ferreira. I have some notes here, Nathan, but I'm pretty interested to hear your takes first on this fight.
I mean, what do we got here? Brunno the Hulk Ferreira. He is what he is. He's short, powder keg of a fighter. Typically doesn't. I don't think he's gone past the first round whatsoever. He is a lot on his feet, moves in and out very well. It's basically uses feints on his opponents just to get in close and get to the takedown. Once he gets you up against the cage, it's pretty much a given that you're going to get slammed. He's insanely powerful for his size. There, he just likes to get on top, move into top control and ground and pound. He does have a couple of submissions there. He's good at doing transitions. And yeah, then you look at Leon Aliu, who took 3 years off after losing back in 2018 to Chad, was that Hanakan? Back in, I think it was Brave FC. But anyway, he has whipping leg kicks. I mean, something that is very surprising about the man are his leg kicks. His stand-up or his striking isn't that great. He kind of does, rushes forward with some looping 1 and 2s. So my best bet is this fight doesn't go the distance. Either someone's getting knocked out or someone's getting ground and pound, and that's the way that it goes. Both of them aren't known for their cardio. So, I mean, let's hope it just doesn't become a big, heavy breathing, hug fest on the ground after round 1. But that's the way I see it going.
Yeah, just to correct ourselves, Ferreira has seen 2 fights go to round 1, but very, very early in round 2. Sorry, he has made it to round 2, but just barely.
It's like 12 seconds in round 2.
There's a 12-second one, and then there's a 1 minute. So technically, he has seen round 2. I think the biggest difference that I watched was really just how they move. Aliu moves really stiff. Just not a lot of flexibility, not a lot of fluidity. And Brunno Ferreira, he has a lot of energy, and I like the way he moves around. I think he sets his strikes up much better. And like you said, he sets himself better up to push up against the cage. If he does get Aliu on the ground, I think you're right, lights out. I think the under is the way to go in this one. Both these guys are looking to impress. And, the Hulk strikes me as somebody that I think he is really amped up to put on a show. I'm sure Aliu as well, but Brunno Ferreira really, really seems to get hyped up. And when those lights come on, he walks through the doors of Dana White Contender Series. It's going to be his to lose for sure in that one. So I think an under is probably the right play in this one here. So, guys, we got our Dana White Contender Series play up. It's on WagerTalk.com on a 15-5 run in MMA. So feeling really good. Cashed last week's ticket on Ikram by Inside the Distance. And if you guys want to join me, I will be on our YouTube channel, Takedown Live. Just find us on Takedown Live on YouTube. We'll be watching the fights live, going over any live bets, predictions, and anything like that. That'll be on Tuesday for the Contender Series. Good luck. Let's have a good event. We'll see you next week on another edition of our Dana White Contender.